senior management is a meat eater, so not really keen on veggie or plant-based products. So I said, no problem. The only thing I would say is just say tikka kebab. So, okay, so they presented it to him. He's had 1, 2, 3, carries on about 4 or 5 pieces afterwards. Good chicken, good chicken, good chicken. So after about 5, 6 times, they go, that's not chicken. It's plant-based, it's vegan. And they were actually asked, why are we not selling it then?
All we're saying is make a very simple switch once a week. Change your chicken tikka masala that you can buy from your local curry house, from your local supermarket, and change it to a chicken tikka masala with a chicken kebab. You'll be surprised how good the quality of the product is, first of all. And you'll be surprised that you don't actually miss the chicken tikka masala that once a week. And those small little changes that consumers can make will actually have a much bigger ripple effect across animal welfare and the planet, and they won't miss the meat.
Hi there and welcome to Plant CEO. In today's episode, I'd like to welcome Satvinder and Parm Bains, the co-founders of SHICKEN Foods. Hey both, how are you doing?
Very fine. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, I'm very well. How are you both doing?
We've been traveling recently and we come back to the UK and it's still wet. And we're now going into June next week. And you think, okay, when are we going to get some sunshine? When is this barbecue season going to start?
Yeah, I think as soon as people start eating less animals, I think that will probably help the climate crisis. So that's definitely something that you've been working on for a couple of years. And I just wanted to say thanks very much. I think it was about 2 years ago or so, Parm, you sent me over some of your early chicken that you had just launched. So yeah, it was great to taste it back then.
Yeah, we touched base a couple of years ago when we first started out. And I think we've been talking ever since, but we want to get product across to anyone that's happy to try them, just to get them to experience chicken and to get their feedback. What do they think of the meals? What do they think of the kebabs?
I think a lot's changed since those days. And, I've been watching your story and you've definitely grown to a much bigger company now. You've had a lot of success. So let's start by you explaining your origin story and how you came up with creating it and why you chose chicken as your first product.
Obviously, we had COVID and we've got the kids at home, mum and dad. We've always loved cooking. Mum and my nannies always loved cooking. Babies love cooking. So flavours have always been there. And at home, we're looking at each other. It hits home. Our boys are both going to university. They were doing GCSEs and A-levels. And we're looking at each other like, oh God, this is going to be a real test of marriage. We love the foods, the passion's there. Let's start again. So what we decided to do is start cooking from home, freezing direct-to-consumer meals. So mum, dad, my boys, Parm and myself, we took over mum's kitchen. So it's quite interesting what we decided to do. Not only did we take over the kitchen, I've now learned that's called a cottage industry. Okay, I don't live in a cottage. Mum and dad don't live in a cottage. We live in a house. So what's that about? But it's called the cottage industry. So we started from home. And it's basically just our passion. We love cooking, but we love the flavour profiles. The chicken has been our IP from day one. So we've always played with it behind the scenes. I was a mum. You know how you tell your children don't talk to that stranger danger? I was a mum on sports day that would make wraps and have other people, other children underneath my gazebo. So I was one of those parents. So I always played with flavours.
Our parents have been business owners, they've run their own businesses, and we were both in work during COVID, working from home. I've been in that commercial space working with food manufacturers from Asia that were supplying retailers here in the UK and Europe. I was looking after that commercial arrangements, working with the major retailers and food service operators. Satvinder's always come from that culinary space. She's really the foodie in our house. So she's been cooking home-cooked meals for such a long time for our parents and our kids. Come along COVID, when we're all stuck at home, we thought, okay, you know what? We've got that passion in the back of our brain. We've got chicken in the back of our brain, which wasn't chicken at that time. We want to just share our home-cooked meals with consumers around the UK. How could we do it? We kind of saw this huge boom of veganism, plant-based, and obviously we saw this huge boom of consumers buying food online for the first time, really. So we thought, okay, we're going to start this as a lifestyle business. We have no intentions of it growing into this massive, mammoth business. This is really for us to satisfy our passion and that desire to share home-cooked food. We had no idea we were going to be sitting here today, 3 years later, with a business employing and the growth that we've seen. in the last 3 years.
How has COVID now changed the way you operate? When people were at home and wanting those accessible meals, has that changed, and in what way?
From a business perspective, has impacted a lot of businesses, whether we like to admit it or not. Consumers have a different mindset, are more cautious, and we all went through this position where we were stuck at home for 12 months. But although that impact, and a lot of businesses are still recovering from COVID that were operating pre-COVID and post-COVID, consumers have now gone back to that pre-COVID position where they now want to go back into bricks and mortar stores. They don't want to be just stuck at home and doing everything within their own home, shopping, communicating, meeting family. We need that human contact. So that online industry has seen a dip. There's been a decline in online sales. And consumers now want to go back into normal bricks and mortar stores, interact with staff in a store, other shoppers in the store, and actually touch and feel products when they're buying them on a shelf.
Hi there, I've got some great guests coming up in the pipeline, so do please subscribe so you don't miss out. Now back to the show.
Are you still doing the online orders, or is it now only at retail outlets or grocery stores?
Our strategy for route to market are 3 different prongs. So direct to consumer still exists, primarily because it allows us to innovate, test product recipes, launch products a lot quicker on the online platform. And we've got a really loyal customer base, a fan base that it's really been championing SHICKEN from the outset. We want to stay loyal to them and really give them great products and new products. The second strategy then is obviously retail, and route to market is for retail, UK and internationally. And then the third is food service, so offering larger pack sizes for the food service market, where we can get our products into the pub chains up and down the country as well.
Oh, nice. So tell me about that. That seems new. I didn't know that you're in pub chains now as well. So which ones have you got into in the UK, I guess?
Stonegate Pubs is probably the largest brand, as we know. We've been working with Breaks Food Service for the last year, and Breaks is the primary food service distributor that we work with, supplying our award-winning chicken tikka kebabs. And those products end up actually in all types of canteens, cafes, restaurants, and pub chains. So there are independent pub chains, there are multiple branded pub chains like Stonegate. We're trying to talk to the likes of Green King. So as an owner of the brand, because it's an ingredient that we're supplying to Breaks, their chefs then go out and provide a solution to their customer bases. So it can really end up in a lot of outlets. And we only get to hear about it when we're at the likes of, we're at the IFE and at casual dining, and we get random customers coming up to us saying, "Oh, SHICKEN, I've got you on my menu. Look at my pub menu, or look at my canteen menu." And our customers and our staff absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me about your distribution with grocery retailers.
Do you want to continue with something?
I'll let you first. You're doing such a good job. I'll jump in when I think you're not doing a good job.
So you would definitely tell me when I'm not doing a good job.
Yeah.
We started retail distribution with our first primary retailer here in the UK with Costco. So Costco has been absolutely amazing. The story there, and I'm going to let Satvinder elaborate on the story. We pitched it into the frozen buyer at Costco in 2022, and the story there was.
Was it 2022 or 2021?
No, 2022.
See, this is how long it's been.
This is how quickly the years go by.
Oh, so no, we've pitched it in. We've actually sent them curries and the kebabs. They love the kebabs because obviously in the UK, what someone might like as a curry, someone might not do. So that was NPD, so new product development. So we weren't expecting that. So they loved it. Because of COVID, you could not go in to do your pitch. So they rang us, they emailed us, sorry. And I just said, just give us a call. So they rang us and said, we're going to ask you a lot of questions because we've got to present this to senior management. So, okay, asking a lot of questions. Senior management is a meat eater, so not really keen on veggie or plant-based products. So I said, no problem. The only thing I would say is just say tikka kebab. So, okay, so they presented it to him. He's had 1, 2, 3, carries on about 4 or 5 pieces afterwards. Good chicken, good chicken, good chicken. So after about 5, 6 times, they go, that's not chicken. It's plant-based, it's vegan. And they were actually asked, why are we not selling it then?
So It's kind of It was that moment where the senior manager and directors of Costco had tried the product, saw the quality, and Costco is one of those customers, retailers that only aspires to supply the most highest quality products in the market. And they were astonished how close SHICKEN was to chicken. So we were given the opportunity to then roll out into UK stores, but at the same time, we were then provided the opportunity to then expand into Costco Iceland, Costco Sweden, Costco France, and Costco Spain. So Costco's been a pinnacle retail account for us from the outset. We've then expanded our retail listings outside of the UK. As of January 2024, we started distribution into Sprouts Farmers Market. Now, Sprouts, for people in the UK who are not familiar with Sprouts, Sprouts is a traditional farmers' grocery market that has actually grown significantly over the last 25 years. They've now got around 500 stores, focusing primarily on the West Coast of the US. So California is a stronghold, Florida and Arizona. But they are very much pioneers, and they want to champion brands that offer organic, natural, plant-based offerings. And we met the buyer back in New York in 2022, who was amazed by our SHICKEN products. And we went through the whole protocols of FDA approval for the US market, which took 12 months. And we successfully launched into Sprouts nationally as of 1st of January this year. And touch wood, it's going well. So the entry into the US market, it's going well. I think we offer a point of difference to other plant-based products. And I think we're one of the very few UK manufacturers and UK brands that have successfully launched a brand over on the other side of the pond.
What I keep saying to everybody, this is not, we didn't jump on a bandwagon. This is our lifestyle. So it's not, oh, this is fashionable at the moment, let's just do this. This is what we believe in. This is our passion. We believe in the flavour. From a cottage industry to get Costco, it was a big thing. And I've got to give them credit, and I always will do, and say thank you to them. Thank you, Babaji, for the support you put in, the hard work. But from going from a store trial of 5 pallets that we made just before Christmas, Palm's driving back, he had to drop some samples off to them. He brings me, so I've got some good news and bad news. So I'm like, okay, give me the bad news. And he goes,
we're not going to do a 5-store trial.
So straight away, obviously, deflated, thinking we worked really hard to get those 5 pallets. He goes, we've got national rollout. So
from initial 5-store rollout trial turned into all 29 warehouses in the UK, the warehouses in Iceland, the warehouses in Sweden, France, and Spain. So it was, okay, we're a small family-run business. How on earth are we going to cope with that level of volume? So that was the bad news. And the good news, he goes, they need 1 more pallet. So I'm like, okay, for Iceland. So naturally, when I'm thinking Iceland, I'm like, the store, we didn't even pitch to Iceland, the store. So why does Iceland want a pallet? He goes, no, the country. I've actually told staff they're finished for Christmas. So they've gone home. I think it was the 18th or the 21st of December. So I've had to bring them all back to get another pallet made, to get that done. And we had the challenges of COVID. So at that time, packaging, there was a shortage of packaging in the UK. So to get that packaging in for a full rollout, and Costco were really patient for getting our site audit ready for packaging. So the support we've had was amazing.
Yeah, that's quite an unusual thing, I guess, for Costco to go that quick.
We weren't expecting it.
I've been in the industry 20 years, working commercially with all the major retailers here in the UK and abroad. And I've never experienced that in my 20 years, where as an initial volume, you're given a smaller segment of stores to trial in, obviously to prove that the product is worthy for national distribution. But then within 24 hours to be told, okay, we're not going to do that trial. We're going to just give you national listing. When can you get us a stock? Normally, a normal retailer would say, okay, we want to launch on this date. You need to ensure that you've got stock by that date. I've never experienced that. Okay, we understand you're a small startup business. We understand you're a family business. Can you tell us when you can produce the stock in order for us to do that national rollout? So the collaboration and understanding from Costco on a new business like ours, I think worked in our favor. If we were almost told that we needed stock on a set date, I think we would have struggled as a business.
100%. I mean, chicken is fantastic, but I mean, good luck, John. It works. I'll take the credit. I'll take the credit.
Yeah. And so you're both Punjabi and Sikh, right? And within Sikhism, if you follow the religion, it says you're not meant to be eating any meat or flesh, right? So can we talk a little bit about that, especially related to, I guess, tradition and culture, where a lot of Sikhs still do eat meat?
Absolutely. So our parents are obviously Sikhs, and we're Sikh family, and our kids are Sikhs. And our parents are religious, and they've been vegetarian 50 years. And we've been vegetarian for 30 years. So we follow the Sikh belief, we follow the faith, and that faith is around not consuming animal flesh. That also includes eggs as well, because it pollutes your soul, it pollutes your body. And in combination of animals, also any alcohol and any other narcotics, because that pollutes your mind, and it doesn't keep your mind, body, and soul pure. So we follow that as a family. We passed it on to our kids, on to that next generation. And we kind of almost bring that into the business, because our faith and our religion, although we don't preach it to consumers, everybody has their own right to make their own decisions. But that belief has actually almost come into the business, and it's one of the pillars, one of the key pillars that drives us into the direction that we're going in.
Yeah.
About having the new manufacturing unit that we've got now is it was brand new warehouse. So we had to fabricate it from scratch. To me, it's clean, suchum. So no, there's not been any cross-contamination, nothing's been in here. Because at home we don't have any egg, meat, any products at home. So for me to have that brand new clean, it was really important.
What was that word that you just said?
Suchum.
So and what does that mean?
I'm going to let you explain that one. To translate that, it's so in the truest form is that it's unused, it's clean, it's natural, it's pure. In its pure form. It hasn't been utilized or used for any meat production, alcohol production. So when Sat says suchum, when we eat at home, we're very conscious that the bowls and the materials and the cooking instruments that we use are pure of all the other elements that we don't believe in. So having it for simple.
No, sorry, it's like double dipping. So you won't put that jutta spoon into the bowl, and even when they're doing downstairs, they all know we don't double dip.
Yeah.
You try that spoon different, and new spoon, you do not double dip. That's no.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those, but touch wood, it carries on in this place. It works for me.
So I've got, many Sikh friends, but let me tell you about two of them. So one guy, he's called Tejpal. So shout out for Tejpal.
Hi, Tejpal.
So he's been like you, pure. He does have, as far as I know, milk. He won't touch alcohol. He hasn't had meat since he was born, but he loves his paneer, obviously. And then I have another friend who's sort of opposite, and his name is Amadeep, and we call him Pops. And he would drink, eat meat, but since watching the show, my show, he said he has reduced his consumption, but he still has a lot of meat. What would you say to both of them to try and, I guess, with Tej, to get him to stop consuming dairy, and for Amadeep to basically remove meat altogether from his diet, especially with your culture and your background? Maybe you'll have more emphasis than I can.
Oh, you're going to pass this one to me?
Yeah, I'll jump in a moment.
So I'm going to apologise up front, gents. Yeah, we're not a preachy brand. We're not a preachy family. I'm not preaching to you at all. You guys live your lives how you choose to do so. But the argument for a lot of the Indian families that we have these debates all the time when we're having dinner with family and friends, is that we've got a product that can replace paneer that is far better for you. It's better for the animals. It's better for the planet. It's better for you as a consumer because it tastes better than paneer. It's more functional. It's better in terms of nutritionals, lower in fat,
protein,
low in saturated fat, and still high in protein. So by switching from paneer to SHICKEN, you're actually going to get a much better experience. And I know when you're dining out, it's difficult because paneer is the only thing on the menu that you can have. But at home, give SHICKEN a go. You'll be absolutely shocked and amazed how good it is. And you won't look back to paneer.
And to Pops, I'm telling you, sorry, this is not me, I was put on the spot. Majority of our consumers are, believe it or not, meat eaters, omnivores, flexitarians. 9 times out of 10, they don't even know it's not chicken. That's the reaction I get. We've just been to Vancouver recently, and I've had a gentleman, all he eats is meat, so he wouldn't give it a try. So I just said to him, as a joke, "You're insured here, aren't you? So what's going to happen to you? Just try it." He tried it, and I can see the reaction on his face, which I love. Like, "Are you sure?" He's looking around, and he's expecting someone to jump at him saying, "You've been tricked," cameras. He looked at me again, looked at Palm, and he goes, "I just feel like I've cheated on my wife." That's and I don't know why I should have filmed that, but I've cheated on my wife. That was his reaction, and that's a true-blooded meat eater.
Yeah.
So the point there being is that to any meat eater, and I don't want to single out Pops in any way, but
Pops, this is for you.
but if for any meat that's looking and is becoming more conscious about what do they eat, how does it impact them, their family, animal welfare, the planet, their own health. Consumers now have access to information that we didn't have when we were growing up, so they can make informed decisions. And what I would say is that try to find a product that you are happy with as an individual, that satisfies you from a texture, taste, flavor, experience point of view, and you can make a really simple switch. Now, what we say to our customers, we don't want you to go plant-based. We don't want you to go vegan if you choose not to. All we're saying is make a very simple switch once a week, change your chicken tikka masala that you can buy from your local curry house, from your local supermarket, and change it to a chicken tikka masala with a chicken kebab. You'll be surprised how good the quality of the product is, first of all. And you'll be surprised that you don't actually miss the chicken tikka masala that once a week. And those small little changes that consumers can make will actually have a much bigger ripple effect across animal welfare and the planet, and they won't miss the meat. And I think that's the key here, is providing something for consumers like Pops and other meat-eating consumers, that small little switch that they can do that's convenient, is easy. They don't really have to think about it or do a lot to kind of go into that mindset of I've got to eat plant-based. And I think if we can do that, all of us as consumers, together as a collective, we can have a huge impact on animal welfare and the environment.
Yeah, so that's great. So there's a message to you guys. So hopefully you listen up to them, and we'll send you some to make sure you try it. When you come to my house, I'm going to force you to eat it. All right. So where did the SHICKEN name actually come from?
I've got to give the credit to this one. This was all him, seriously.
I've got a credit. I'm going to bank that one.
Yeah, definitely. How did you come up with it? I mean, it's a bit of marketing genius there with the letter play.
Well done, Paul.
So we want, obviously, this is a home business from the home with the family during COVID. So we couldn't use marketing agencies to come up with brainstorm sessions and do consumer paneling or anything like that. But we always wanted a single name brand. We wanted to kind of follow the huge single name brands globally. And I'm not going to mention them on this chat, but we all know who they are. And we thought, okay, we always, the IP of what the product we had always developed was a piece of breast chicken. That was a replacement for breast chicken. It was made from soy. So one day we're sitting there thinking, okay, soy has an S in it. Chicken has these letters in it. Why don't we just combine soy and chicken together and come up with SHICKEN? Now, don't get me wrong, when we first came up with the brand and we mentioned it to friends and family, we got a lot of, what? SHICKEN?
Chicken?
No. Yeah, yep. You had a lot of puns, a lot of, is that what they call chicken in Liverpool? And all kinds of social media puns. And even to the point when we finally got investment, our investors said, one of the key things they said to us, how attached are you to the brand name? And at that point, we were a tiny business starting out. And I said to Sat, are we really attached to the brand name? If we're getting an investment and they want us to go through this whole rigmarole of marketing activity to kind of identify a brand, and we came up with loads of ideas. Satvinders.
No, Auntie G's, hell no. So like, nope, Satvinder doesn't mean anything apart from to me. By that time, we got the Costco listing. Costco were more than happy with the name. They didn't even challenge the name. And funny enough, our investors love the name.
So once we got the consumer buy-in and the retailer buy-in, who love the brand, the investors, funnily enough, also love the brand as well. So it's one of those things, if it's not broken, let's not fix it.
Yeah, so I guess talking about investors, that was Reg Capital. But why do you think they wanted you to change it initially, I guess?
It's too similar to chicken, because obviously for their mission and to be plant-based aligned and mission aligned, it is very similar to chicken. So I could understand where they're coming from. But in America, chicken works. Americans actually get chicken a lot more than the UK. But now everyone's now familiar with chicken.
And there was a bit of thought process behind the brand, because there was a lot of media that the French government were looking to ban naming of plant-based products that were replicating milk. They couldn't use the word plant-based milk or plant-based chicken. And then when we was thinking, why don't we come up with a brand name that actually identified the protein, and then we just put the name of the product in. So chicken tikka kebabs, chicken tikka masala. We solved that problem. We're not actually using a substrate, or we're not using a descriptive word. And chicken as a brand name, when we did that initial research, could be registered in the UK, the US, all of the global markets that we wanted to then enter. So it basically lended itself in various different facets to the business.
Yeah. So now I guess you've done a massive innovation. You've gone allergy free, and you've also removed soya, because that's also a big allergy. Normally, if you have an allergy to soya, you have a vast of other allergies as well. So tell me about that decision to change it. And I guess the S doesn't work anymore but yeah.
He's going to have to make the S work now, because I'm not changing the brand name. It's taken 18 months behind the scenes. So back in 2022, when we did get the listing with Sprouts and we were speaking to them, in America, soya has a very bad reputation. So it's associated with the Brazilian rainforest and health effects and whatever. So we knew what people's view was about soya, but it wasn't straightforward to actually get rid of soya and still have the flavor and the texture. And we didn't really want to compromise on our product, because if it's not right, if I'm not going to eat it, why am I going to expect someone else to eat it? So behind the scenes, it's 18 months now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 18 months now to realize, wait a minute, if we're going to remove soya and replace it with pea protein, we look at all the allergens, because this site for us since last year has always been a nut-free site anyway. So we've always declared ourselves as a nut-free site. There's no nuts inside the warehouse whatsoever. So we thought if we're going to do it, we might as well do it properly and remove all allergens.
So the two allergens that we had in the original recipe was soy and wheat, the most commonly used format of plant-based proteins. But at the same time, as a business, we're making decisions not for commercial reasons. We're making decisions that we feel ethically aligned and strategically aligned to as a business, that we should be making decisions not just for commercial reasons, but we don't want to be another problem in the bigger food supply chain issue. So first of all, we had to go and find pea farmers here in the UK so that we could source peas from UK farmers and work with the UK farmers. We didn't want to export or import pea protein from abroad.
Yeah. So tell me about how you went through that process of finding those pea farmers. And you found, was it one in Yorkshire?
Norwich.
Okay, sorry, yeah. So tell me about that process you went through. How did you determine that you were going to work with them in Norwich?
So we kind of actually explored various different supply bases. And the way you do that, you go to various exhibitions. So Plant-Based World over in the XL, going to food expos and going to Expo West in California, and also Anuga in Germany. So the primary way of getting in front of suppliers is really going to expos, where you're going to find those specialist ingredient suppliers. And at Plant-Based World in London is actually when we met the pea company that we started that initial discussion with. Met them, went to their site, saw the farms, saw how they were working in terms of they were an allergen-free site as well. They were BRC certified, which is crucial for us, which is we're a BRC certified manufacturing site ourselves. And for anybody who doesn't know what BRC is the British Retail Consortium standard for food manufacturing here in the UK. It's one of the hardest and most stringent food standards globally. It's not just a UK recognised standard. And then my team, or our team, the procurement team and the QA team, technical team, actually then started working with this particular supplier to evaluate the ingredients that they had and how they would be incorporated into our product mix. And then it's a case of spending a lot of time producing samples, doing paneling here within the business, so that we're kind of tasting product, we're adapting, tasting, adapting, benchmarking, seeing what else is in the market. And Satvinder is a real stigma for quality. She kind of, if it pleases her, the product has to be good, because at the same time, me and my kids, we're kind of flexible, we're adaptable, but Satvinder is so
Fussy.
Fussy is the word. I didn't want to say it. She said it. So if it pleases her, the product quality has to be that good. So that's the process we went through.
Yeah, awesome. And the actual pea, is it like an isolate? Is it like a pea isolate, or is it like textured pea protein? Is
the way we process is it's actually green peas. So if you leave green peas, you dry the green peas out, they turn into like a mini chickpea. That's then ground flour and pea flour. So we try to keep our product as natural as possible without adding too many ingredients in the process.
So you're actually doing that in your own factory?
Buying in the pea flour and then using that as an ingredient to produce the final chicken in our own factory.
And what was the decision to, first of all, I can see the massive benefits that you've got, right? To create your own factory with it being allergy free, you having more control. It hasn't been somehow polluted in any other cross contaminations. But what was the reason to do that in the first place versus finding another co-manufacturer, I guess, where I think a lot of other companies have gone down that route?
We did reach out to a couple of manufacturers, and they were quite honest with us, especially one in particular. And they told us we would be always at the back of the line. Yep. So they couldn't guarantee quality. It's when they would be able to fit us in on a shift, and like new product development, that wouldn't be happening. So then we realized, if we're so passionate about our products and this is a route we want to go down, we need to actually bring manufacturing ourselves in-house and do it ourselves, because one, we can control quality, ingredients, new product development. So if you have to stop something, start anything that you could do, you can actually do it. You've got full controllability over it.
Our key IP was a SHICKEN recipe that we had developed. If we had gone to a contract manufacturer, we're kind of disclosing that IP. Only 3 people know what SHICKEN is made from and how it's made. So that was a key part of that.
Who's the other person apart from you two?
We can't name him.
Santa.
It's going to be Pops. Or it's one of your sons, not the other one. And then it's like...
we love more.
Yeah, exactly.
But the decision, and obviously we, at this point, we had raised funding via venture capital, and it was a broader discussion in terms of they knew we had a great product. That's why they invested in us. And then they love what we are about in terms of people. But then it was a case of, guys, look, we now want to manufacture. We don't want to contract manufacture. We want to own manufacturing. We want to own control and quality. And we want to be in control of our own destiny. We don't want to be dictated to via contract manufacturers and work within their constraints. We want to be able to do and grow the business organically, but really do some great things with product development.
I guess that happened before also the vegan food group brought Tofu Town. Matthew's been on the show a few times, and one of the things that we spoke on was going through that acquisition was capacity at their manufacturing plant to manufacture other items there. Was that a discussion afterwards that you had with them?
So this discussion was actually back in 2022.
Right.
So this was prior VFG, and VFC was still VFC. And we were dealing with Matthew and the VFG group, VFG team from a venture cap point of view in terms of investment. So at that point, VFC was still contract manufacturing out to various manufacturers. But from our mindset, although we're part of a bigger group, we need to make decisions that is right for SHICKEN and the SHICKEN business first. And the investment team totally understand that. They although they have a large pool of investment, each individual business is responsible for their own business and make decisions that's right for their business first. So for us, it was a case of we want to produce a dedicated plant-based factory, first of all. A lot of manufacturing in the UK right now, when you look at retailer own brand, is actually produced by sausage manufacturers that make vegan sausages or meat burgers with a bit of vegan manufacturing on the back end.
Yeah, I'm not always comfortable about that, you know.
As consumers, you wouldn't know about that. That's the other thing, is when it's plant-based and it's in store, a lot of consumers don't realize that products are coming from a meat factory. And we wanted to really set precedents to say, okay, we're putting our names and our reputations to this because we're producing this product in our factory. We know, like Sat said earlier about suchum, we know there's no meat, we know there's no egg, we know there's no dairy, no nuts. So only by having that kind of confidence over what we do can we then say to our customers, guys, and talking to your other friend earlier that you mentioned who's a strict vegetarian, that Indian population and that Indian community wants to know that this product is coming from a production facility that doesn't handle these other ingredients and other animal proteins.
But it's not just Indians. One of our main customers from day one when we started the business, from our cottage industry, bless her, she used to get the jalfrezi, but the reason why she was buying them, she loved the flavours. So she loved the story, she loved the flavours, but more importantly, peace of mind. She goes that when I go to a restaurant, I feel really guilty. She goes, because I don't know if they've made chicken or what they've made in those pans, how they're washing them. And she goes, I eat, but she's, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel right. So bless her, I knew there was something because she's ordering 20 jalfrezis every month. I put some in her freezer. But she goes, it's that thought process because of her beliefs and her dietary requirements. She didn't want it.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
When you were talking about our own manufacturing site, when Matthew first invested in us, it was direct to consumer. But obviously we outgrew that. Then we got our retail listing with Costco. But they did call it, because when that was our small little unit from cottage industry. We upscaled to the one right opposite from Costco. And the team did call it then. And they said to us back then, you're going to outgrow this unit. It's too small for you. So this is our third unit. And they did say that. I've got to give them honest. Matthew and the team turn around and go, you're going to outgrow this. And I'm looking at them like, nah, what are you talking about? Here we are now in a new unit. And they were right.
Yeah. And how long do you think this unit's going to last then, I guess?
It will last.
It will last. So that last point about outgrowing facilities, we took very seriously. And we said, okay, we don't want to just continue moving because we moved within 6 months and then 12 months. Now we moved here in January last year. We put the investment in so that we have the foundation for growth. And we can grow into a global business and have those foundations where we've got a manufacturing facility that can cope with that growth.
Yeah. Do you also have plans to grow the product range outside of Indian cuisine?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
We're Pan-Asian at the moment, though. The NPD, new product development, that we love doing in this kitchen behind me, we're always doing kitchen samples. So we're looking at Pan-Asian, which is the most natural for us at the moment.
Yeah, I think the strategy for the business is Asian food is enjoyed anywhere in the world, whether you're UK-based, European-based, US, Asia. So what works really well for us is our products really elevate themselves when there's that spice, that marinade, that flavor, whether that be a green Thai curry, whether that be a teriyaki kebab, a nut-free satay, whatever that takes. It doesn't have to be just Pan-Asian. It can be Caribbean. It can be South American, Mexican. Those flavors are huge in the US. But what we want to do is we want to be the brand that's known for the Asian cuisine, the Pan-Asian cuisine, South American cuisine that's chicken-based, that has that value add, that flavor, that convenience. So then when you look at that, you think, okay, the scope for MPD and scope for development is huge if you look at all those different cuisines.
Yeah, for sure. And that will open up so many different market opportunities for you then afterwards as well, right? Because just for example, in the Pan Asian cuisine is so popular within the obviously the Indian community and how those flavors mix really well. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
You want to try out chili chicken? Amazing. Forget chili paneer. You want to try out chili chicken? Fantastic product.
Last weekend we went away with the family, with my nieces, my brother-in-law, mum and dad. And I haven't had chicken for a while. I've had the kebabs, don't get me wrong. They know I love the kebabs because every time we do taste panels, I eat the most. We had butter curry and it's a vegan butter curry. And I tell you what, I'm eating it. I'm like, oh God, this tastes really good. And he's looking at it, it's your product. I'm like, I know, I've not had it for a while, but it's fantastic.
So you're not making a butter chicken version at the moment. This was somewhere else that you went to eat, is it?
No,
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So we went to Centre Parks, basically, is what you went to do. So we took
Okay.
chicken with us, and we made, mum made the rice, and then the parents were with us. We had 2 lodges booked, and we took chicken butter curry with us. And we made chicken butter curry with the rice, and she hasn't had it for a while, and she's sitting there thinking, oh, that's really nice. I thought, this is your product. Of course it's not.
Yeah. So just actually, because I tried obviously the soya version, haven't tried your new version yet. So how would you describe the difference between the two?
Well, put it this way, we've recently done the transition in Costco from the soy version.
So any Costco will no longer have the soya one, right?
They've got the pea protein, so they've got the allergen-free version.
Right. I'll pick that up next time I'm there.
We'll send you some. You have to go back to the buyer and they have to obviously check the quality, taste it themselves. They loved it. So that says it all. They actually compared the normal chicken, that soya version, to the allergen-free soya. And they said, if anything, if it can, it actually tastes better.
Amazing. And is that now made its way to Sprouts, for example?
They're a little bit further away from us. So there is a transition period. We've got stocks in the US right now that are still using the soy-based product. We have a plan to then sell that stock through and then transition to the pea-based product. We've moved our current customer bases to pea. So Costco went live on the 1st of May, Breaks goes live 1st of June. So that current customer base and the European customers will be moving to pea imminently. And then we plan to move the Sprouts product over to the pea. I think realistically it's going to be about August and September time when that new pea stock will be actually in store.
Yeah, brilliant. That's such great news. I'm really glad that you've moved away and you've done the, obviously the allergy free, which opens up a huge market for you guys, but also in other countries you can adapt to the different religions that have different requirements for food. So, whether it's halal as well. So, all of that is relevant here as well. So it's brilliant. It's so good. And I wish you continued success and look forward to seeing the new product ranges that you bring out with these different iterations as well.
Brilliant. Just to make sure that you've got product to serve your friends when they come around for dinner, I guarantee you now, Sat's going to get to the team. Could we get a box made up, please? Can we send that out to Anand so he's got that box of product to serve to his friends and family? I guarantee you.
We're doing
I'll tell you what, I'll give you their address. You can send it to them directly as well.
They're going to really appreciate that, especially Pops. Like, that's not chicken.
Yeah, for sure. Brilliant. So thank you again for coming on the show, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great speaking to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.